Alright, so yeah, we're not back in Overpoch, but it is about Overpoch today. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna be showing off what goes into creating an Overpoch episode. The entire process, from conception to creation, or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna be showing off the entire process, so it's gonna start out with recording the footage, then editing it, then rendering it, uploading it, and then some other foof. You know, you gotta create a thumbnail, you gotta give it a name as well. There's an entire process behind it. So for those who are interested in that, I thought I'd create this video. You know, maybe you're an aspiring YouTuber and you might be able to pick up something from this. Maybe you're just interested in general, who knows? But we're gonna dive into it. So yeah, for Overpoch, first you need a game. So for Overpoch you need Arma 2, as well as Operation Arrowhead. Then you need to have the mods installed, so that is Epoch as well as Overpoch. Now, sometimes people ask me what launcher I use. I actually use CCG launcher because I pretty much only play on CCG servers, but for as far as I know, the most widely used DayZ launcher for a variety of DayZ mods is DayZ launcher right now. DayZ Commander used to be the thing, but I think it stopped updating, so DayZ launcher is apparently the way to go. Anyways, then you got the game down. For recording, I use DxStory. There is a variety of programs you can use, but overall I like DxStory the most because it gives you a lot more options. So I combine DxStory with this program called Virtual Audio Cable, so this allows me to split the audio lines. So instead of having all the audio mushed into one track, I actually got 3 separate tracks. So one is for game audio, the second one is for TS or mumble audio, and the third one is my microphone. So yeah, this allows you to manipulate all these tracks individually. So that's how you get the footage. Then you gotta edit it, so you drop all that footage into a program. Now for this I use Sony Vegas Pro 11. You drop that footage in there, and well, then the editing fun finally begins. So what do? Well, when I'm actually playing a game, you know, I remember what moments were exciting, so make a mental note of that, and I slice these moments together. It's pretty much just cutting and fading at that point, and a bunch of audio manipulation, you know. Sometimes people are making noises on TeamSpeak. Sometimes I bump into my microphone, I mute certain tracks, mess a bit around with the audio with different levels, you know, make sure people's eardrums don't get blown out. That's very important, because people will blame you for that. Now, if you already pretty much know what you want, it's pretty much just time consuming. You know, you gotta splice all of that stuff together. You probably also want to assign some custom keybinds. I got my custom keybinds for pausing, muting, pretty much everything I use. You definitely don't want to be using your mouse because that is a big waste of time, and it's already pretty time consuming doing it this way, for me at least. I do edit a fair amount, but I just like it that way. Also, it's very important that you save a lot, especially if you're using Vegas, because Vegas has a tendency of crashing unexpectedly, and the autosave feature is not really ideal. So about every 5 key presses, I just press Ctrl S just to be sure. It pretty much becomes a habit, but you'll be thankful if you remember that one. Just do it. Just Ctrl S. Just every 2 key presses. Just keep pressing Ctrl S. But every time you see your keyboard, just keep staring at it. But anyways, moving on. So once that's done, you know, I got my edited video. I decide on how I want to splice these things up. So sometimes I got enough for just one video. You know, my goal is pretty much always to just at least have 10 minutes. Ideally around 15 minutes. And at 20 minutes, the render time starts to become a tad bit too large, so 20 minutes kind of the max for me most of the time. That's the way I do it, so at this point, you know, you decide how you want to divide things. In this particular case, I could actually get 2 videos out of this, and they were both adequate length, so that was cool. But then add some ending fade to the audio as well as the video track, and add the intro overlay with the logo. Then I copy the microphone track over to Audition, which is what I'm using right now actually. But I copy that over to Audition to remove some background noise and to spice up the microphone a tad bit. Then copy that back. Then copy that entire project to a 2160p project. So the gist behind why I do that is I record and edit in 1080p. And then I copy it over to a 4K project and render it in 4K. So the end video is 4K. And the reason for that is because that just unlocks a higher bitrate on YouTube, so the video will actually look better. Now this is more time consuming, rendering and uploading wise, but for me, since I'm already spending all this time creating this thing, I may as well just upload it in a quality that I consider watchable. So yeah, if you can, if you got the internet connection as well as the PC, you should probably watch all my videos in 4K. Even if you don't have a 4K monitor, because it'll just look better. But yeah, now we're done with the bulk of the work, so we can actually render the video in 4K. And then it's pretty much just some extra work. At this point, you gotta think of a title. You know, you probably already have some exciting point of the thing in your head or something that was repeated a bunch of times. So that'll probably be your title. But I mean, you gotta make it an exciting title, but you don't want to be too clickbaity, because then people will get upset. So, you know, you have to strike the proper balance between clickbaitiness and truthfulness. So once you found that out, you gotta create a thumbnail. So for this, I use Photoshop. Now, sometimes in-game, I will actually create a screenshot ahead of time. If that is the case, then you simply take that screenshot, add some text to it, and you're pretty much there. You know, sometimes I gotta remove some HUD elements that can be sometimes a tad bit time consuming. I probably sometimes waste too much time creating a thumbnail, but that's just the way I do things. But yeah, if I don't have an in-game screenshot, I actually gotta go through the footage again in Vegas to see whether or not I can pull an exciting frame, something that can be turned into a thumbnail. So if that is the case, then I will simply make a print screen out of that and drop that into Photoshop and create a thumbnail out of that. Something I actually have not mentioned, but you can see the tiny video editor screen in the top right corner pretty much. I actually displayed the video output on my second monitor, which you could not see here, so I'm not editing on that small window right there. I was actually editing on a big window, so I can actually see what happens in game. That's pretty important. But yeah, if I can't get anything from a screenshot nor from the in-game footage, then sometimes, you know, I go into the editor in Arma 2 and actually place down some units and create a screenshot from that. Now that is a tad bit time consuming. That's probably putting too much effort in your thumbnail, but I do like creating my thumbnails, you know? It's a nice little touch. You know, I'm very proud of my thumbnails. They're really pretty. But yeah, now we're done with the thumbnails, so that thing is created. We've also hypothetically rendered the footage at this point. So we're nearly there, but not yet. We still gotta do some other things, so we have to actually wait for it to upload to YouTube, which can be quite time consuming. But once the video is uploaded, we're truly nearly there, but not quite. We still gotta do some things, so we gotta add the title and the proper number to the video title, as well as the description. That's gotta be correct. So, you know, add like a little short summary of what the video is about. That's what I always do. And then we gotta add the annotations. So this links to the previous part and the next part. That's pretty handy because the YouTube playlist system is still not really ideal. What I would actually really like from YouTube is having preset thumbnails, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. You know, maybe in like 2025 we'll be there, but I don't think it's a thing. But when we're done with the annotations, you know, we're truly almost nearly there. What I do is I add a date and a time in the scheduled uploader. So I sort of do have a video schedule, so I normally upload my videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 GMT plus 1, I believe. It's the mainland European time, 6:30 PM. So yeah, schedule is very important. I actually have a spreadsheet in Excel where I plan these things out. It's very important to keep your spreadsheets up to date. But yeah, use the scheduled uploader to determine when I want to release the video, and then we're truly done. We're there. So yeah, that is what goes into creating an Overpoch episode, or most of my videos in general, you know, sort of like the Let's Play DayZ-esque style videos where you can sometimes run around for like 6 hours and nothing happens. You know? It's like playing Russian roulette with your legs. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press that blue thing with the thumbs up symbol. And if you didn't, then press it anyway.